Helps when the slider's up. Good morning. It is April 17th, Thursday, if my calendar and watch are correct. This is the Automotive State of the Union. I'm Paul J. Daly. This is Kyle Mountsier. Today we're talking about a record, kind of a recordish month. One of my favorite parts about today is talking about how the retail industry is actually following the auto industry.
That's right.
This is probably the way it should be.
You know what? You know what's interesting? This is like, what's really cool is this morning I was working a bit on our keynote for closing SodaCon.
By the way, we're doing the closing keynote.
We're doing the closing
Kyle,
keynote.
myself, Michael Cirillo are putting together.
It's going to be a full rip. but even GPT wrote it in this like, no, you don't understand. We've been thinking we're the trailing indicator of retail success. We're the leading indicator of retail success.
I mean,
like, reposition your brain cells on how that works.
The dog just trains it on, what dog just does what you train it to do.
That's right.
GPT knows what's up. Because we told it what's up. Yeah, we just came out of a rip roaring time. The Auto Forum, JD Power Auto Forum was such a blast. And we came out of that with just a reinvigoration of what this More Than Cars community means to the auto industry. There's so many people, so many lanes. There's the data people, there's the insights people, there's the people, and the More Than Cars community is kind of all three.
Yes.
But we just, the people are at the top of the pyramid. And like, that's just how it builds. Like, remember the health pyramids back in the day?
Yes.
I mean, you had like Hulk Hogan and all those Schwarzenegger. They were like, look, you should eat all kinds of bread. Remember that? Like, whatever you do, make sure you eat your bread.
Yeah, Wonder Bread paid millions for that. Right,
they did
there.
Great, lots of donations. But listen, the agenda for a SodaCon is live on the site right now.
That's right.
At asodacon.com. If you want to get excited about what you think you should be getting better at, go read the agenda. Even if you can't go, the agenda is like, okay, this is what I should be paying attention to navigate these rough waters, to make my business accelerate. Go to asodacon.com. Brought to you by our friends at Reynolds and Reynolds and Goobagoo. Thank you so much for being the presenting sponsor, by the way. But just read through some of these agenda lists and look, you need to get your tickets. You've probably been seeing on LinkedIn and social that like all these people are posting their cool, I'm going to a SodaCon bumper stickers. Yep. It's because they're going. Read through the speakers, like go like speakers and then click all speakers. I bet you don't know a good number of the dealers who are going to be speaking. And that's kind of like been the calling card for a Soda, right?
I'm excited about that.
Right? Finding the people who are actually doing the stuff and moving them to the front. If you look at like kind of who's popular and who always gets quoted, I don't like to brag. We don't like to brag. But if you actually track those back, I mean, you're going to realize when they first hit the internet. So our speakers, this is great. Nathan just typed in our speakers are the leading indicators.
Oh, what? You mean the people are the leading indicator of the greatest industry in the country? Come on now.
That is good. So go to asodacon.com, get your tickets now, book a room. Come be with us for a day or two.
One particular, because everybody is concerned about this. I've seen a lot of conversations. There's one particular session that I am excited about. I'm already upset because I think someone else has to moderate it because I have to be somewhere else during the time. But it's the panel is called SEO to GEO. Ooh. And we're terming GEO, generative engine optimization, as a thing that you can be paying attention to. It's got like Nick Askew, John Sukawati, and it's all about like preparing, understanding what generative engine optimization is actually doing. And it's not just GPT, it's actually Bing, it's Google. All of these platforms are leveraging AI to prioritize search results, and adapting your content strategy to that is important. Ooh. Not just for AI-based search, right?
It is not the same. No, it's cool. Everybody knows now. You search on Google, what's the first result?
Exactly. Yeah.
AI summary.
It's almost hard to click into the link. So we're going to talk about zero-click search results and all those type of things.
Oh, yeah. That's good stuff. We do have some Auto Forum interviews. We took a lot of good stuff. I don't know, Nathan, where do we find those?
Well, this is great because I'll just make the call. We're going to be releasing them on LinkedIn, but I think what we're also going to do is do a special episode of this Automotive State of the Union podcast with all of them back to back.
Oh, great idea.
It'll probably be like 15, 20 minutes with all of them there.
Great idea.
Some great ones. John Bozzella, Alliance for Automotive Innovation, Tom Castriota, chairman of NADA, Stuart Stropp of JD Power.
We'll throw Bernie Moreno back in there.
Throw Bernie Moreno back in. All
very good.
Stuff.
Cool. Very good. Let's get
go.
to some news. Market data is in for March, and it was, get this, the 6th highest March for new car sales since 1976.
What?
Before you and I existed, Kyle.
Unbelievable.
Weren't even a twinkle in our parents' eye in 1976. Largely driven by all this pre-tariff buying. Our friends at Cars Commerce are making these insights available for free in their Q1 Industry Insights report. It's linked up in the show notes. March sales grew 11% year over year, pushing the Q1 average up to 4.8%. January and February were only up 1%. So we offset all of that, made a big jump. Trade-in values are expected to rise in the coming months, fueled by anticipated increase in new car prices. Average new car prices holding steady at around $49,000. It's been that way for the last 18 months, which is 30% higher than pre-pandemic levels. So things got more expensive and they're staying there. The fastest growing segment of new cars are cars between $30,000 and $39,000, as tariffs are threatening sub $30,000 inventory. Get this, those affordable cars, as we would call them, 89% of them are made outside the US. The only ones that are made here, Honda Civic, Toyota Corolla, and the soon to be discontinued Chevy Malibu.
Goodness.
One last little kick here is Tesla and non-Tesla EV search intensity is trending towards parity, meaning about the same. Tesla has had such an elevated advantage in search intensity. We know because people are searching on cars.com. They're almost the same now. People searching for Teslas or non-Teslas. And there was a huge gap last year if you look at the chart.
I think that there's two things at play there. Obviously, we know the Tesla in the news, Elon in the news, but there's also a lot more inventory available when it comes to legacy manufacturers building some of the new EVs. So you just we were going to at some point reach the parity. It's just been accelerated by the broad public news, I think.
Yeah.
The other interesting piece to this, I just want to call out because I'm tracking analytics across a little over 600 sites through the work with AutoGenius that I do. And one of the things that we saw is we saw the first 3 weeks of the month already pacing high. So everybody's pointing just to tariffs, seeing like all of this increase. And there was only 6 days of the month where tariffs had a massive impact, because that was when everything finally was stated like, yes, we're actually doing this. And that's when we saw traffic increase and word increase. We saw a study earlier last week, this week, about Car Wars noting a 4,000% increase in phone calls mentioning tariffs. But that was all in those last 6 days of the month. So there was already heightened demand in the market. And so I expect that demand to stay high, whether or not tariffs are a part of the conversation, because it was already happening early in March. You wouldn't have seen that level of year over year increase without a full month having growth.
No doubt. Wow. I didn't think about the insights you probably get from that.
So many.
AutoGenius.
We should talk about it a bit more.
You should release an insights report yourself. Look at one little anecdotal thing. So I was in New York City for the forum on Tuesday. Wednesday, I took my 16-year-old daughter around, who shot some great photos. We'll be sharing them at the forum, but she'd never been to New York City. So we went around, did a bunch of stuff. I took her to Hamilton, and at the end of Hamilton, when the cast gets up and talk, they were raising, they did this little fundraiser thing where the cast comes up and scan this QR code. And they're like, for a $100 donation, you get this signed poster. For a $10 donation, you get this pen. So throw your dollars in. They're like, throw your Hamiltons, throw your Washingtons, right? And the characters are coming up.
Yes.
And she says this, and throw your Tesla keys in while you're at it.
What?
And I got a little rowdy in there for a second, because I don't think everyone loved the sentiment totally.
No way.
But, I mean, they're talking about Tesla at a live Hamilton matinee in New York City.
That's wild. I mean, we know why we're on Broadway, but
those poor cats.
but it's still like
public
auto is in the public eye as we've
inside.
not seen in recent history.
And there it is. There it is. Let's talk about retail a little bit more. Retail sales in general made a strong rebound in March, not just in auto.
Yep.
They rose 1.4%. Retail sales overall to 734.9 billion, with automotive leading the pack. Inflation fears, consumer sentiment, they're saying, is painting this complex picture for future spending. So there was only a 0.2% gain in February, for context.
Wow.
0.2% in February, 4.6 in March. Auto, vehicles, and parts leading the way, up 5.3%. So they went up 5.3%. Think of the leverage there. If the overall increase is 4.6 and auto is 5.3, how heavy of a chunk that is in the data.
Oh, it's massive. Well, because it's the largest retail industry in the country when it comes to sales and parts, by a lot. Like the only industry that out GDPs it is healthcare.
Right.
So
so consumer sentiment fell 11%. No surprise there, I guess. But here's a little silver lining. Inflation dropped for the first time since May of 2020.
That's incredible.
So inflation dropped for the first time in almost 5 years. So we'll see what that does. Actually, obviously the tariffs and what's going to happen affecting that a lot. NRF, National Retail Federation Chief Economist Jack Kleinheit said the consumer is not feeling great given the confusion of policy announcements from Washington. So just a little reminder there on how influential the auto industry is to retail and sentiment in general.
Yeah, the sentiment that the consumer isn't feeling great, I think it's more that the consumer has a future nervousness, and so everybody is bringing forward purchase behavior. And so watch out for that, right? People potentially being in the showroom kind of like, well, I wasn't planning on buying yet, but. Yep. And how do you approach that with care and empathy as you're like walking them into a sale they were maybe planning for summer and have pulled forward their purchase behavior? It's definitely a different kind of purchase, right?
Yeah.
From a consumer behavior perspective.
One little insight that's not in the show notes, but thinking about from the articles I read, one of the items that surprisingly are getting pulled ahead because of tariff, car seats. Because they say people, if they're thinking, right, they're expensive these days, but if they're thinking about it, like, hey, maybe this is the year, people are buying car seats.
So strange.
Which, kind of goes really good. I don't know, if you're a dealership, do a little car seat thing. There are people thinking about it. It led the indicator on purchases being pulled forward.
Well, and not just that, but like so many car purchases are a part of life's existential moments.
Yep.
Car purchase, having a baby,
new home,
of those things.
Yeah.
Right. New home.
Yep. I know. Speaking of those things.
Segue.
Lowe's really follows.
Lowe's follows existential moments,
sure
and they're
do.
embedding themselves directly into the sports gaming world through EA Sports titles. As the home improvement giant targets younger, gaming savvy audiences where they already spend time, Lowe's branding will appear in games like Madden, College Football 26, and EA Sports FC. A Stadium Pulse feature will showcase Lowe's during intense in-game moments. Players can earn in-game perks tied to My Lowe's rewards and future Ultimate Team challenges. eMarketer, the company, found that interstitial ads or full-screen advertisements displayed during natural breaks in users' game experience, such as between levels in a game, are often skipped by gamers. But opt-in video ads that offer an incentive to click, like an in-game reward, can succide because it depends on how valuable the reward is. So it's not just like interstitials; it's like tied to gameplay. Lowe's will also bring the action offline with an in-person Madden NFL gaming tour. Lowe's described the effort as establishing true connections with the next generation of loyal Lowe's fans.
I think there's a lot to take away from this article, even though it seems, first of all, I think it's really ironic that Lowe's is about going out and doing something, like building something, and gaming is kind of like, we're not going to do that right now. We're going to play games. So a great little audience to try to drag into the Lowe's affinity. But I think it's so insightful that they're like, hey, when you're just trying, like, all media placements are not equal. All video placements are not equal. And they're like, no, we have in-game videos. And they're just like, yeah. And the data shows that no one watches them because it's unimportant to what they're doing. And so they found a way to make it engaging, to actually have that, like, when marketing begins to entertain or add value, it becomes entertainment. not marketing anymore. And so they figured a way to actually make that happen by offering a small, costless incentive and just rework the way they were engaging the video. So I love that element of it. And I think like being where the people are is, I mean, I guess marketing.
Well, and it's like the sports world is obviously an affinity network, right? Like, you know who you're talking to, you know what they may or may not be interested in building or doing. You already see, I think it was Home Depot did the career pathing stuff alongside sports just a few months ago in their ad campaign. And so it's clear, like, there must be some correlation between rabid sports fans and doers and makers. It's something that, like, it's what's the data telling you? And I'm guessing, like, if Home Depot and Lowe's are both leaning into that network, there's probably something there. What's interesting there to me is, like, okay, what are the affinity networks that auto needs to pay attention to?
Ooh, that's good. That's good. I mean, look, if Lowe's, you're clicking on that video, it's giving you a speed boost in the game, and you're looking at the orange sign to the blue side when you have to buy some lumber, where are you going? You're going to Lowe's. Look, get out there, take care of some people. We'll see you here tomorrow morning.